language. But this one, it uses the sun. And we call it Tupanakoka Muritia Millennium. Then in English, it's a millennium sundial. So the reason why they decided to write in English and Setswana. So remember, in Botswana they speak Setswana. So even here we speak Setswana. So Setswana is the main indigenous language around this area. Because remember, in South Africa we have a total of 11 official languages. Then out of those 11, I can speak and understand 8. Yeah, because me, I speak Setswana. So Setswana, that's my mother's tongue. There is Pedi, Sotho, Zulu, Xhosa is Indebele, Afrikaans and English. I'm petit peu français. Alright, then over here. Yeah, then over here, this is going to be our timeline. Yeah, so the timeline starts from 6 in the morning. So this is going to be sunrise to sunset. But now the timeline goes anti-clockwise. So the reason why it goes anti-clockwise is because it was designed according to the direction of the sun. Then in the middle, this is going to be the 12 months of the year. So we've got January this side, December at the other side. So what we normally do, you pick up the stick. Then firstly you must know the month. Then today's date. So today is the 10th of May. So if maybe it was the 1st of May, I was supposed to place the stick right at the beginning of the line. But each and every day you have to move the stick, meaning the 10th should be somewhere here. At the end of the month, the stick should be at the end of the line. So the 10th should be somewhere here. Okay, then I'm gonna put my stick up straight. Then where the shadow of the stick is casting, that will be our time. So what's the time on your watch?
What time is it?
Recording.
What time is it?
15 minutes before 11.
It's 10:50. That's impressive. It's accurate.
Right, so by 11 o'clock, the shadow will be here. 1200, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So meaning in the morning, the shadow will cast this side. Then in the afternoon, the shadow will cast this side. But the disadvantage about the sundial, no sun, no time.
No time.
Into the cave, the cradle of humankind. Hope I make it out. All right, let's go. Mossy warrior clan on the move. I can see this place is pretty good condition. This is a man-made entrance spot. It's pretty cool. Going 200 and some steps down, 60 meters into the earth, where some of our first ancestors lived. Some of the Australopithecus, Littlefoot, this is Ples. And the further we go down, the cooler it's starting to get. It's getting a bit cool. Cool. Some rain just got on me. I don't know where that came from. Yes, indeed.
Right, this one here is very.
Okay, we are going to a stopping point.
All right, yeah, then, as I've said earlier on, the Sterkfontein Cave is famous because of Mrs. Ples and little food. So this side, behind the second gate, so this is going to be the first gate, the second gate, then you walk about 10 meters on the left. That's where little food was found in 1994. And the skeleton was found inside the caves. But that does not necessarily means little food lived inside the cave. So little food did not live inside the cave. So for little food to end up inside the cave, little food accidentally fell into the cave. Because when you look on your left hand side at the back, can you see that there is a ladder? Yeah, so right on top of that ladder, there is an opening or a shaft. So little food accidentally fell into the caves. And now I can confirm that a little food is a female. But previously we used to say little food is a male. So last year at Wits University, they were unveiling the skeleton after almost 20 years of excavation. Then it was confirmed that a little foot is a female because at least they managed to look at the pelvis bones. Then the skeleton is 3.3 million years old, which means a little foot is the oldest Australopithecus fossil ever discovered in South Africa. And again, little foot is even older than Lucy because Lucy is 3.2 million years old. But now we can say that the area is well protected. Even the gates are closed, so they don't allow anyone to go in here. Because the scientists, they come here once or twice in a week to come and look for more fossils. So they are scared that if maybe we go up there, we might step into some of the fossils. So that's the reason why they don't allow anyone to go in here. But this is where little foot was found. Then this one over here, this is just a replica skull of Mrs. Ples. But the size, this is the exact size. Then after we're done with the cave tour, you will be able to see an excavation site where Mrs. Ples was found in 1947. But to be honest, Mrs. Ples was firstly discovered by the Italian miners during the 1800s because Mrs. Ples was found outside of the cave in a dumping site. Then in 1947, Dr. Robert Broom and his assistant, John Robinson, they were blasting using the dynamite. because as you can see, around the skull, there is a crack. So this skull was discovered in 2 pieces because they were blasting. Then it was reconstructed again. Then the skull is 2.15 million years old. So which means Littlefoot is older than Mrs. Ples. And now there is a debate about the gender of Mrs. Ples, because some scientists believe that the skull represents a young boy. So don't be surprised if maybe next time you come back, I'm no longer talking about Mrs. Ples. The title have changed to
Mr. Ples.
Mr. Ples. Yeah, then the name, Mrs. Ples, that's not the original name of the skull. So Mrs. Ples is a nickname given to the skull by the Star Media, because one of the journalists could not say the long scientific name. Then, clever enough, he shortened the name to Ples, because the scientific name of Mrs. Ples is Plesianthropus transvalensis, which means a near human found where? In the Transvaal. Then, about 2 million years ago, the Australopithecus became extinct. Then there comes a new species called the genus Homo. Because remember, we are the Homo sapiens. But only 5 of the genus Homo originated in Africa. So the first one is called Homo habilis. Then the Homo habilis are also known as the handy man, because those are the first species to use stone tools. Then after the Homo habilis, there comes the Homo ergaster. So the Homo ergaster are sometimes referred as the Homo erectus. So Homo erectus, that's when we started to walk upright. Then about 1.9 million years ago, the Homo ergaster moved out of Africa into Asia and Europe. Because according to the scientists, our ancestors moved out of Africa in 2 movements, known as Out of Africa 1 and Out of Africa 2. So Out of Africa 1 involves the Homo ergaster moving out of Africa into Asia and Europe. So when they migrated to Europe, Asia, that's when we started to have the likes of Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo florensis, Homo antecessors. So they all evolved where? In Asia and Europe. So have any one of you heard about our new finding called Homo naledi?
Yes.
Yeah, because Homo naledi was discovered in 2013. So close by, about 8 kilometers away from here, there is a cave called the Rising Star Cave. And amazingly, Homo naledi does not consist of one individual. So Homo naledi consists of 15 individuals. Then according to the scientists, the reason why they managed to uncover 15 individuals, it is believed that Rising Star Cave, where they found Homo naledi, used to be a burial site. Then I know that some of you, later on, you will be going to Marobe, to the museum. So at the museum, you are going to see the original Homo naledi. So Homo naledi is going to be the first one. Then the last one, Homo sapiens. And the Homo sapiens, we emerged about 190,000 years ago. Homo naledi is 235,000 years old. But now, there is no way that you can visit the Rising Star Cave, the cave where they found Homo naledi. The reason being, in 2013, after Professor Lieberger discovered Homo naledi, he went on a Facebook, then he posted a message, National Geographic, stating that he was looking for people to come and assist him to remove the bones out of the cave. Then some of the requirements for the applicant is that you must be skinny and be short.
What?
Yes? Then over 60 people applied, but he only chose 6 ladies, of which 4 were from the US, Canada, and Australia. The reason being the entrance of the Rising Star Cave. That's 18 centimeters.
Mercy. Small.
And the reason why Africa is described as the cradle of humankind, the answers are very, very simple. Oldest fossils were found where? In Africa. Because in Africa, we're talking millions. But when you go to Europe, Asia, we're talking thousands, which simply tells us that humankind originated in Africa. Because human populations appear to be different in terms of color, body size, hair texture, and other physical attributes. Beneath the surface, we are all visually identical. There is no genetic boundary for race. We are the same species. Caves were discovered by the Italian miners in 1896. Then when they entered inside the caves, they were looking for gold. Unfortunately, inside the cave, there was no gold. So the only thing that they were able to find, limestone. So this is what the Italian miners were mining. Because limestone is rich in calcium carbonate. Then it was used to make cement, toothpaste because of calcium, even to purify gold. So inside the Sterkfontein Caves, most of the stalactites and the stalagmites were damaged by the miners. Then on this side, we have a natural entrance. So little food fell into the caves in one of the openings, the same as this one. But this one, it was used by the miners to descend into the cave. So this is where they entered. But to go out, they decided to blast the entrance that we've just used now and make it an exit. Then the caves were formed under the dolomite. Yeah, so this is a dolomitic limestone cave. And this is a 20-million-year-old cave. And the caves were formed by water eroding the soft part of the dolomite. So we can say about 80% of this cave is natural. Only 20% where the miners were blasting is man-made. So how many of you've been into caves before? Not this one, maybe to other caves. Okay, now, do you still remember the difference between a stalactite and a stalagmite?
Stalactite hangs from the ceiling. Stalagmite comes from the floor. And stalactite, you remember because it's tight to the ceiling. I can't remember why you remember stalagmite. So it's the opposite.
It might reach the roof.
Yeah, it might reach the roof. Then there is a point where stalactite, stalagmite will join.
Yeah.
So when stalactite, stalagmite join together, what do they form? A column or a pillar.
Yeah.
Then for a centimeter of a stalagmite, it takes 100 years. But unfortunately inside the Sterkfontein Caves, most of the stalactites and the stalagmites were damaged by the miners. But this one here, this is a good example of a stalagmite. But now this one, this is a dead stalagmite because there was no water that is dripping.
Yeah.
Right, and then from here,
I really can't see this.
no fish. The only life that you can find inside the lake
It's water.
lined shrimps.
It's a big
Because
truck.
where we are at the moment, this is 60 meters underground. Then this side, this is our underground lake. Then the temperature of this water is 11 degrees Celsius, and the water is drinkable.
It's drinkable.
But over here, you see the lake looks shallow. So you can say this lake is not deep, but nobody knows how deep is the lake.
Ain't
So
nobody
not
going for
even a single person can tell you how deep is the lake. We don't know. Because in 1984, we had 3 divers who came here and they wanted to check how deep is the lake. Then one of them, called Peter, the wire which he was using was cut off. Then he took the wrong passage, he lost the directions, then he went missing. Then the other 2 divers came back. They reported that a Peter is missing. Then they called the police. The police called the rescue team. Then it took the rescue team 6 weeks to find Peter. Then they found a Peter in a pocket of a lake, which means Peter did manage to find his way out of the lake, because they found him in a pocket of a lake. But when they found him, he was already dead. So
No
maybe
food.
fear, starvation, is very cold.
Right.
They all contributed to his death. Then he left the message. He said he loved his mother and his wife Shady, because they were only married for 2 months. So since then, they don't allow anyone to go in here and check how deep is the lake. Then in summer, especially during heavy rainfall, the level of this water can rise up to where you're standing. Then the lake can stretch for about 50 to 60 kilometers. Because what they did, they wanted to measure the length of the lake. But now there's no way that they can use a boat, because at some point the spaces becomes very small, meaning the boat cannot pass. So what they did, they poured a coloring dye, like an ink. They pour it here, then they found that ink in a place called Carltonville. Then Carltonville is situated about 50 to 60 kilometers away from here, that side of Johannesburg. Yeah, then up here, remember, this is what the miners were mining, because you can see that some of the stalactites have been chipped by the miners. Okay, and remember, 60 meters underground to go up 229 steps. Okay, let's do this. Most of the fossils were found here. The reason being, as you can see up here, there is an entrance which is very close to the surface. So maybe bones got washed into the caves, but most of the fossils were found here because of this opening.
Okay. That's where it is. That's where our ancestors were found. Right here.
Take a couple of these.
Right here. The ancestors. What y'all call people cave dwellers? Y'all remember this? Follow me
It's
here.
an animal skeleton which supports its body and gives it shape. Particular bones join
Professor
particular
Philip
muscles to facilitate
Tobias.
movement.
Game
Here,